All right, so today we're doing some Kamigawa Pioneer testing. Blue White Control got a neat little card. It's called March of Otherworldly Light. This card is really sweet. It's a single white and X at instant speed. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of white cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. So I haven't really seen anybody do that yet, but it's a possibility to really help us deal with something late game if we need to. And it says exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. So it's kind of it's an instant speed spot removal spell. It's the first time that Blue White Controls really had instant speed spot removal, other than Fateful Absence. So it's kind of nice to see this card seeing play. I've seen a couple of people playing it, and it looks really good. I've seen people pitch 3 cards to kill a Bolas of Citadel. That is awesome, and I hope that I get to do that. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty sweet. But other than that, the deck's pretty stock. The new Kamigawa lands are pretty neat. The blue one bounces something back to your hand, and the white one deals 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature. So that's pretty neat. And the one thing that I really like about this list is that they're playing one Elspeth Suns Champion. I love this card. I have always liked this card. It is a very good way to close games out quickly when you are winning the game. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes today and see what happens. Kahira, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's a free card in the sideboard, other than just like running like a Dream Trawler or something like that. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out too. Pioneer League, 100 points, 298 active players. The numbers kind of dwindle around, I've noticed, and I think some of that comes from my lack of playing and not really seeing a ton in the format lately. So I'm kind of curious to see what the metagame looks like with all the shifts now. I saw somebody had a pretty decent run with Burn, except they've really went into more of like the actual Burn spells package, and they're playing like Reinforced Ronin in their deck, and I think that's really interesting. I think there could be a very interesting build of something like that. The list that I saw did not have Eidolon in the main, and I'm curious. Maybe Reinforced Ronin in the main with Eidolon is it's just too much recurring damage that you have to take. But I would be curious to try it with Eidolon in the main and see what that looks like. Because the list that I saw had Shrapnel Blast, and I understand Shrapnel Blast's value, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I think this is a easy mulligan. So this is kind of interesting, honestly. I think we're keeping this and putting Field of Ruin on the bottom. Because I like having the Charm and the Veto. Second Field of Ruin seems kind of unnecessary. Plus, if they just play a bunch of basics or something like that, it wouldn't really do a whole lot, I feel like. So it's possible we get mono red aggro, and then the Field of Ruin has no value there. I played Nibdelite at my Pioneer FNM last night. Mana worked. I didn't lose. Culling Ritual is a nuts card in the current mana. I don't know what Culling Ritual is. I'll have to look that up. But, I mean, Nibdelite always just kind of seems like a house in my opinion. It just always feels very good. Probably should have played the Castle Vantress there so that I could have played the Hall of the Storm Giants untapped. Kind of hoping I draw a blue source, or a white source, I mean. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and do this here. 2 black-green sorcery. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana cost value 2 or less. Wow. And you get to add mana for each permanent destroyed this way? That's insane. If you play against Burn, that just seems insane. Go ahead and cast Consider. Yeah, we're going to have to put that one into our graveyard, as much as I would like to see that card. Just playing the farmland here and saying go. I was like, our opponent probably cast Opt or Consider or something like that here. Yeah, that card kind of seems bonkers, honestly. It honestly doesn't even seem terrible against Ascendancy, because it blows up their the Caryatids. probably not going to do anything that's super important here. I mean, the Expressive Iteration is a good card for them. Nope, we'll leave that one on top and draw it. Irrigated Farmland makes this Glacial Fortress a lot better right here. We'll play Glacial Fortress and say go. We have Dovin's Veto and Azorius Charm at the ready. If they put a Phoenix into the yard and try to like go off or do something like that, then we can just put it back on top. If not, we might just use Azorius Charm to cantrip here. They opt to the top. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, we're just kind of blanking their turn this way, so it doesn't seem bad. Narset's not bad. So I actually don't think I want a minus here because Dovin's Veto is great, but if they just play the Phoenix and attack and we don't have an answer, we'll lose that. And we would have to find into another Azorius Charm because the... I mean, I guess we could pitch that if we wanted to. Like, we could pitch the Veto to that, but that seems very counterintuitive. Yep. Narset's down to 2. This thing is 7/7? Yeah. Alright. Well, let's see. So I can use these two and this, make 5. And then I'll have 4 mana, which means I spend 3 and have 1 left over. So... I think this is what we're taking here. X is currently 3. Yeah, because it's 1 is 3, so I'd have to pitch 2. I don't really know if I like doing that. I think I'm just okay with like another turn going by here of letting them kill the Narset. And then we have the March in our hand. This is actually pretty cool because we just have the Tension Sphere here. So we use Field of Ruin and then have 4. No, I don't like that. Detention Sphere, yep. Get both of those. Seems pretty good. And now we have March and Veto up here. Yep. And consider to the top. Op was already in their graveyard. Is that the sacrifice a creature? Yeah. We're just going to say go here. Huh. I don't really like letting them have this card. This is one of those cards that I will take the time to counter because it makes their next spell worse. Now, if they're casting Treasure Cruise here, like, that's fine. See, like, they'd had 2 pieces of the puzzle. Yep, they take double op there. We'll scry 2. We'll put that on top. We'll draw into this. So, let's see. We can go... We can just wait and do nothing here, basically. Use the Emperor here. Yep. God, these games against Phoenix with this deck takes so long. He opts to the top. Okay. Okay. Yep. I mean, he's going to go up to 11 cards here. And I guess I should probably really save my Field of Ruin for... Should really save my Field of Ruin for their... Make a 2/2 Samurai. Yeah, I should definitely save it for their Hall of the Storm Giants here. Because if not, we just get into this like weird contest where we're just staring at each other. Alright, attack for 3. We put our opponent to 17 and say go. Having Azorius Charm and March of the Otherworldly Light here is pretty good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, our opponent opts. They go top, top. They do draw into Hall of the Storm Giants. They only have 1 Phoenix in the yard, so it's not like they... Okay. Yep. We're gonna put this on top. Is 4. We get to exile this, which means they have an Arclight Phoenix on top of their deck. And we'll say go. Now they can just hard cast the Phoenix here. They also haven't played any Okay. Crackling Drake is a one hit shot here. Thing in the ice. Okay. Probably just gonna kill the Planeswalker here, I imagine. Yep, seems pretty good. Gonna say go. He has an Arclight Phoenix in his hand that we know about. Scry 2. 5, 6, 7, 8. Blue-white looking strong. Yeah, blue-white's looking pretty good here. So we're going to put this on top, and then we're going to put this on top because we want to draw this. We're going to play this first, just so we don't walk into like main deck Mystical Dispute or something crazy here. We will clear the board and say go. I'm not going to take down Narset here because we have no way of killing the Arclight Phoenix they have in their hand. I just said go. Am I missing something? Yeah, there's 2 here, 1 there, and then 1 in their hand because we put it back on top of the Azorius Charm. Yeah, we'll go ahead and tap Hall of the Storm Giants here. Let's get a little aggressive here. Might be wrong. We'll take Veto here. Now they do have the option of playing their Phoenix and just killing the Narset here, which is kind of tough. We're going to untap these 2. Okay. Maybe I'm supposed to veto that. I don't know. We've only seen 1 Treasure Cruise, though. Like, so the idea of just giving them a free cruise here by not using our veto smart seems kind of wrong. I'm going to take this opportunity to scry here. It's like they might just like go off and do some crazy stuff here, but I'm going to put this on the bottom and this on top, like seeing the Planeswalker here. So we draw into that. We plus Teferi. Find Absorb. And I still don't think we want to put Narset on the bottom, or we want to I don't think we want to minus Narset here again because Flame Blessed Bolt and just like a Wild Slash Spikefield Hazard gives them too many outs to try and okay. I put Fiery Impulse in the graveyard. Now, it could be completely wrong what I'm doing. I could just be not playing aggressively enough here, but the fact that this thing has Flash is bonkers to me. Just like bonkers. Hey, Ben, with 11 months. Let's go. Thanks, man. Bop 'em. That's exactly right. This first game feels pretty decent so far. We're going to go ahead and plus up on our Samurai token. Draw a card with Teferi. Get in the red zone here for 3. Okay. I guess I could have cycled the farmland for free there. Cycle of Farmland. That's not bad. That's also not bad. I'm actually going to play it. I'm just going to get aggressive here. Oh wow, ward is things your opponents control, so that's actually really sweet. All right. Okay, that's fine. Like, if you're wanting to spend your removal spells on that, then, you know, good for you, man. Like, I'm not going to fight you about that. I feel like this game's locked up. We're just going to attack for 8 next turn with counterspell backup, so this is fine. Like, I don't see how letting them, like, do this anymore. Why is there so much land going on right now? Jesus. Because it's, like, turn 30, man, because I'm playing control. That's why. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and veto the pieces of the puzzle. I'm just going to go to my turn. I'm going to tuck the thing in the ice. Fire up the hull. Give this a counter. And then I have 9 with absorb backup. Okay. You discarded your last card. Okay. Seems good, bro. And then put our opponent to 2. We could have used the March of Otherworldly Gaze there to try and make something happen, but it just, I don't know, it felt kind of unnecessary, if I'm being honest. Alright. Alright, so I like March being over here. Dig Through Time with the Elspeth. We're bringing in Bopham. That's right, man. It only took me half an hour to get there. Deafening Silence. Rest in Peace. Mystical Dispute? Or not Shark Typhoon. I mean, Shark Typhoon doesn't seem bad, but I think I want the Mystical Disputes here. And I can just try to win the game that way. So, let's see. Cards that don't seem great here. I'm not going to lie. The Wandering Emperor here does not seem that sweet. Elspeth? I don't know. It's like a good one-of to win the game. We can cut a Supreme Verdict. Maybe we're cutting an Absorb. Maybe the Absorbs are not great here. Maybe we only want 2 Supreme Verdicts. Delvin's Veto and Azorius Charm seem good. Considers just really cheap cantrips. Maybe we cut it to Fairy. Maybe we're doing that and we only want 3 marches. I don't know. I'm willing to try it like this. Yeah, we'll try this and see what happens. That first game felt pretty clean. Felt like we had a pretty strong start there. This hand, man, this hand feels insane. We get to have Deafening Silence, like, into Rest in Peace. Like, then hold up counterspells. Or maybe we're supposed to shock in Hallowed Fountain and say go. And that way we can hold up Mystical Dispute for... We get to hold up Mystical Dispute for the Thing in the Ice. Because we don't actually have an answer to that now. And a flip Thing in the Ice can be a problem. That was a good draw too. Yeah, we're just gonna say go. Now we're kind of telegraphing that we are considering here, or we're holding up Mystical Dispute. So if we do nothing, they're very aware that we have Mystical Dispute, which is fine with me. Let's go ahead and cast Deafening Silence and say go. Hopefully we hit a land drop here. Missing lands will not be very good for us. I'm kind of interested in just playing that. If we hit a land for Narset here, we're like really rolling. Actually just going to play Narset and not even tick down. There's a possibility that we go through some of our lands right there, and I don't want that. Plus, if we tick down and they play Phoenix, we're in not a great spot. Crackling Drake. Okay. Not drawing a land is not great there. We'll take the Mystical Dispute because it allows us to play Azorius Charm here and fight over and have Mystical Dispute as backup here. I think I'd rather cantrip here. I think I'd rather let Narset go to 2 and just cantrip here, honestly. Well, Rest in Peace is good, but we need to be... I mean, I think we're just drawing a card here. Can't play more than one non-creature spell because of Deafening Silence, so looks like we're just holding a veto here. Alright, Narset's down to 1. They shock in. And that can't be countered. Okay. Well, we need to hit a land here. No, we don't want to put that into our graveyard. We are going to play that. We're going to say go, hold up Absorb, because the Chandra Emblem's not super scary, truth be told. Like, it is a little bit because it is quite a bit of damage over time pretty quickly here, but... yeah. They're just playing nothing and staring at us. I don't know how we're winning this game from here, honestly. Draw a card. Yep. We're going to go to 13 off the Drake here. Maybe 14 if they play something. If they play anything, we're just going to absorb it. Alright, well that at least buys us a turn. Gonna kill the Narset now? Okay. Alright, we're drawing a lot of hate cards here, but... yeah, I'm just going to concede here and conserve like 10 minutes of clock here just to try and make sure that I can get under our opponent. I mean, March of Otherworldly Light is really good. And Rest in Peace is really good. I mean, unfortunately, when you draw too many hate pieces like that, you kind of get up a creek pretty fast. The fact that Chandra can't be countered is pretty good. Makes me wonder if I want the Shark Typhoons. Maybe I'd rather have 2 Rest in Peace. I want as many ways to win the game as possible here, I feel like, which is kind of a weird feeling. I don't want to sideboard just based off of last game, but I don't know, Dig Through Time or Elspeth here. I mean, I guess Dig Through Time because we are bringing in the Rest in Peace. Dig Through Time seems to be the worst card if we draw, like, late game. Well, we can't keep this. It's a hard mulligan. We'll keep this. Put the Elspeth on the bottom. We have Field of Ruin to shuffle up the deck here so we can try to draw into Elspeth to have it as an option here. I mean, having a 5-mana Planeswalker and a 6-mana Planeswalker in my opening hand are not very good. I really like the way that this hand is set up, actually. It feels a lot better than our last opening hand. I'm going to kick this out to the side like this so that we can see what's going on. Chart a Course, okay. I mean, drawing a blue source here would obviously be very good. Discards Mystical Dispute. Play this and say go. Okay, our opponent cast Opt. That's fine. This allows me to get another island. Draw a land, please. I think I'm considering here to try and find a land. Yep, we're going to put that into our graveyard. That's not great. They do have quite a few counters post board in their deck, so I mean, I'd have to pitch 2 cards here just to get rid of the Phoenix, and I just don't think that's worth it. Like, having double Mystical Dispute as leftovers in my hand feels feels not bad, but not great either. We kept 3 lands and we haven't drawn a 4th. Like, I mean, guess we're just gonna play Narset and say go. Like, decks like this, like, control decks thrive when they hit their land drops. Like, that's what makes control decks so hard to build, is that, like, you have to hit land drops and you have to hit spells the entire way. Alpine Moon, interesting. Gonna name Castle Ardenvale here. Yep. All right. Wait, what? So 1, 2, and then pay this for 2 more? Yeah, so we target this. I'm pitching this, and then I'm going to cast it. Man, if our opponent has Spell Pierce here, it's a blowout. Maybe I should have tried to consider into a land before doing that. I'm not sure. I like keeping our Narset on the field. I don't really understand why our opponent brought in Alpine Moon. Maybe they want to name Field of Ruin? Or maybe they feel like me not being able to make tokens is just good enough for them here. They opt to the top very quickly. Probably a Crackling Drake if I had to guess. Another Phoenix. Alright, we're 15 cards in. No, I don't want to put that into my friggin' graveyard. And we'll say go here. Like, at least we're hitting lands. Like, at least we finally get another land. Yep, we go to 14. That's fine. I think I'm just going to say go here. Like, I could play Supreme Verdict and realize that that's like just a 1-for-1 here, but that doesn't seem very good. I don't know, like, this game does not feel like it's going very well for me, and the fact that we're not drawing lands is just... it's just one of those things. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like 26 lands in this list that I pulled. Alright, well, we'll play Verdict. We'll play the farmland and say go. Alright. Hopefully they tap out here so that I can get Teferi into play, but we're also under 0 pressure right now, so I'm not really worried about losing to anything here. I mean, I know they have to have like a negate and like a mystical dispute in their hand. Okay. That puts me to 10. Detention Sphere, say go. Yep. They're probably just going to fire up the Hall of the Storm Giants here. Yep, that makes sense. We're going to go to 3. Chandra Emblem's going to put us to 2. Well, run out the Teferi. Yep. I mean, that was all we had there, was to play Teferi. Well, that was a very interesting game. I mean, what's some good decks against blue-white? I mean, I think like red aggro is very good against blue-white. If you are a good blue-white player, like if you put a good blue-white player versus a good Izzet Phoenix player, I honestly don't know who wins that matchup. One, I've not played either side of it enough times to know. And I think it's one of those things that's like very like, who's the better player when it comes to situations like that. Like, I firmly believe that like our opponent beat us because they are better with Phoenix than we are with blue-white control. Because I think that's a pretty close matchup. This seems fine. Giganta means there's really a couple of options, so play this and say go. Play the Plains next turn, just because we have multiple blue sources to follow it up with. Okay. Enter testing. Playing Giganta. Just some kind of like vehicles thing, it appears to be. I've seen everybody playing like that, like Parhelion Reanimator brew recently. Seems like Vito won't be terrible in this matchup, if I'm being honest. Supreme Verdict also seems very good. Okay. Alright, we're just going to say go here. If our opponent doesn't do anything, we're just going to cycle the farmland. I don't feel like putting Giganta into our hand is good enough here. Okay. Interesting. Doesn't play the Citadel. Is he about to cruise 6 to hit me for 7 here? You're going to hit me for 9 here. Alright, I kind of like it, I won't lie. Find an Absorb. Okay. Alright, we go to 11. They have a Darksteel Citadel and some unknowns in their hand. Alright, we'll play Supreme Verdict and say go. We're at least forcing them to have some good options here to be able to continue to crew the Dreadnought. I mean, maybe they just have a sweet, like, something great here. Karn's not bad. Karn is not bad. Alright, so we get to hold up. We get to hold up Absorb and Veto here. We'll give them the Plains. I'd rather them have to minus for the Dreadnought, obviously. But giving them the Dreadnought is just giving them more options. Maybe they wanted to land there. Alright. They have 4 unknown cards in hand. We will veto that. And then they're going to attack us for 3 here. Okay, we go to 8. This deck seems pretty interesting. I've seen a lot of these like vehicle decks. A couple of times I've been able to watch content. Put that into the graveyard. Dig Through Time is pretty sweet. You love to see Dig Through Time. So if I do that, I have multiple. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I do need this to be able to play Absorb and Dig Through Time here. The March of the Light card, whatever it's called, it will be really good in this matchup, it appears. What does this card do? Becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. You gain 3 life. You don't lose mana as though... Okay. That's fine. I mean, maybe I should have just absorbed that there as like a way to gain some life. You can have the Darksteel Citadel. I would rather the Mechanic. Alright, so they play it. So they have a 5/5 now. Hmm. Four, 5. Wow, we find absolutely nothing to help us out here. So, yeah, nothing. Because we can't even flash into Planeswalker where we're at now. So if we absorb that, we go to 11. That's... They have 11 on the field. Alright, well, we'll just concede here. Imagine playing Karn, the Great Creator, against them. Oh, Great Creator would be insane again in this matchup. Would be insane. Alright, so let's see. We're gonna arrange this how I like to have it arranged. Sorry the heat kicked on, by the way, so that's where that's coming. That noise is coming from. We're bringing in the Marches here. Wow, Sunset Revelry seems cracked in this matchup. I didn't see a flyer. They're probably playing the boat. I can't remember what it's called, but they are probably playing it. They didn't really seem to have many graveyard shenanigans there. So Rest in Peace doesn't seem great. Deafening Silence seems fine. Like, maybe fine. Mystical Dispute does not seem good, honestly. And then Shark Typhoon seems like it could have some value. Like being able to cycle late game. Supreme Verdict honestly doesn't seem great here. Like, just like real talk. And Veto seems good, but extra medium. I think I'd rather have removal. Maybe we cut it to... they don't really care about drawing cards, I don't think. And Teferi seems kind of slow. I think we can try it like this. Alright. Get Kahira. Alright, this hand seems pretty solid. It's a little slow, but I like that we have 4 lands to start out with. It is possible that having 4 lands could have meant that we should have held that so that we could cycle it later if we need to. But I think that just go ahead and getting stuff down is good enough. I really like Azorius Charm here because having Azorius Charm allows us to put stuff back on top of their deck. Or we can just, like, you know, cantrip and do some stuff. I think I'm just going to hold on to everything I have here. I was like, I don't really see a reason to do anything. We'll play that and say go. We're at least representing Absorb this way. It'd be nice if we had one, but we don't here, unfortunately, so. Target creature can't be blocked this turn? Okay. Okay. We'll put this back on top of its owner's library. Seems pretty decent. We'll take 2, go to 18. We'll just go ahead and take the turn to play this tapped and just say go. So the Ox never actually attacks us, which is pretty sweet. I was like, they're going to play that. We know that they didn't draw a land. They brought in Deafening Silence. That is really interesting. I'm curious to know what made them want to bring in Deafening Silence, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I don't want them to be able to do any kind of like shenanigans. Plus, it looks like we're doing this so that we can represent Veto here. Or not Veto, Absorb. Okay. So, I mean, our opponent's going to attack and we're going to block here. Like, Sunset Revelry is just so good in this matchup. Our 2-mana card has basically presented 13 life so far. Vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Okay. I am gonna cast this because I feel like if we're able to go Detention Sphere into virtually anything else next turn, or just go Sunset Revelry into anything else, we're just in a really good spot, honestly. Our opponent missing land drops has given us an opportunity to be able to actually draw a card off Sunset Revelry, which does not happen very often. Really depends on what their hand looks like this turn. Alright, well I said that and now they're not, now they're playing lands and stuff, so yeah, okay. Definitely not drawing a card. Using its toughness rather than its power. Okay, so you're going to hit us for 13 here. That seems pretty good. And then we get to cast Dig Through Time on their turn. Yep. Being able to do this and then cast Dig Through Time is really solid, because that just makes an 8/8. Like, that's just like ready to throw elbows. Like, that 8/8 might be able to win us the game here, honestly, as long as we use our blockers wisely. Yeah, because if we do that into Detention Sphere the following turn. Okay. Alright. Swinging in with the clowns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make an 8/8 shark. Just gonna always yield to this ability. And we will put March and Azorius Charm into our hand. That seems pretty good. Alright. We take nothing. Draw insanely well. We're going to make a 5/5. And I guess I could just minus if I wanted to here. Nah, we'll draw a card. Attack for 8. We'll put our opponent to 12. We get to untap 2 lands, which gives us March or Azorius Charm. I'm not going to lie, their Deafening Silence really didn't do much here. It was very underwhelming. Alright, our opponent just concedes. I mean, I can't blame our opponent for conceding. Alright, so Sunset Revelry, we learned, is cracked. It's just absolutely insane. The one of Dig Through Time. So Elspeth is just bonkers here because it's just making a whole lot of blockers. The Wandering Emperor makes blockers at instant speed, which I really like. Narset seems very, like, it seems okay to find us cards that we need, but not great. I kind of wonder if we're cutting a Narset for a extra Supreme Verdict here. I know Supreme Verdict's like not like a house or anything, but it's also not bad. Like it can clean up 3 or 4 creatures because they do play some. They play a lot of vehicles, but they have to play things to crew those vehicles, like the Ox and the 1 mana guy. I can't remember his name right now. They're playing Genius Smith. Like they have cards to Supreme Verdict. And I think on the draw, we just want that extra help to try and help us clean up, you know, so. So I don't know if there's like any Rocket League fans in the chat or not, but I'm a G2 fanboy. I always have been. It was like the first game of Rocket League I ever watched was G2 back when Rizzo was on the team, and this the like whatever these little events are called, like not the weekly splits that they have, but like the regionals or whatever they're having. They've been upper winners bracket, or upper finals bracket, whatever it's called. Last regional 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now this week. So I think this hand's really good. I think the dig through time is a little slow here. But I think playing farmland tapped on 1, I think Sunset Revelry buys us enough life and enough like damage off of the way their cards hit us that we get enough to do here. And Sunset Revelry is freaking insane in this matchup. We can also buy Kahira if we need to try and find some time here. I'm actually just going to play the Island. I'm going to get a little greedy here and go for the Consider into an untapped land play, which allows us to hold up Azorius Charm. So any artifact pumps that up to a 3/2. 3 or more artifacts. No, we're not going to put that into our graveyard because I really like that. Gives it first strike. So I'm just going to go ahead and cast this. Make some guys and say go here. And then next turn we have tapped land into Azorius Charm if we need it. Control 3 or more artifacts. It also gains first strike. I'm going to throw both of the blockers. Ooh. No, I'm not, because they're going to do that, which is actually a pretty neat trick. And I'm going to do this. And then they're probably going to add some stuff to the board here. I mean, I imagine, like, they only get to use it this turn. Alright, our Supreme Verdict's looking better and better. Like, if we can put the Dreadnought... So they have a Dreadnought in their hand that they're probably also going to play. Alright, so we're going to have to block pretty strategically next turn. Or are we? I don't know. I think I might actually rather have that after the Supreme Verdict. So block one of the big guys there, and then run into Supreme Verdict and use Azorius Charm to put it on top, which kind of stifles their turn. I kind of like that play. I don't really think we're in any danger of losing the game. Like, I know that I say that when they're coming across for 19, but we're going to be able to put the Dreadnought back on top here. Yep. Keep walking into that Supreme Verdict, please. Like, the more cards you play into Supreme Verdict here works out better for me. Okay. Yep. Those get first strike. I mean, all those things have crew 6. So you can crew 2 things and come in here if you want. Which actually works out better for us because then we're not taking anything. I assume you're going to use the Smith and the Hotshot Mechanic to crew the Dreadnought here. So this is actually kind of sweet because we're not going to take anything. Oh, you're an NRG fan, Valk? Yeah, man. I mean, dude, so I have to say, like, it's kind of funny. We play NRG a lot, and I feel like we're always losing to them. Like, NRG is really good. I heard that they actually struggled a little yesterday. But, I mean, NRG is, like, one of the best teams in Rocket League, in my opinion. Alright, so we know they have a Dreadnought on top of their library. They might just use this 3 to buy Gigantha. Yep, they do. And then play another Dreadnought. Alright, so we know their last card is Gigantha, and right now they have no way to play it. So that feels pretty good. Their team just isn't fair. Squishy, Garrett G, and Justin, it's just not balanced. Oh, dude, you're 100% correct. I mean, that is like as close as like you can get to like talking about like a super team in Rocket League, in my opinion. Like, they're just so good. So I'm actually going to cycle the farmland here and then cast Dig Through Time. A pilot or vehicle spell. Okay. So they're going to start using Mech Hanger to turn things into vehicles, which is fine. I'm okay with that. We have the Sunset Revelry in our hand to help us here, so we're going to take 7, go to 14. What rank are you? Oh, dude, I was playing quite a bit about a year ago, like 6 months to a year ago, and I climbed into Champ 1, and that's as high as I ever got. But right now, I sit like around like that Diamond 2, Diamond 3 range. I just don't play enough to like really like be high up in rank. What about you? What's your rank, man? Three, 4, 5. Play Dig Through Time. Elspeth Sun's Champion just seems like lights out here. Like, maybe I'm crazy. So we take this and march. Seems correct here. That's also not bad. Yeah, I really like the Elspeth here because we're just making tokens every turn that they can do nothing about, basically. The tokens at some point will overwhelm them enough to just be able to, enough to, like, win the game here. But we do have lots of good backup cards here if we need it. I peaked at Diamond 1, but I haven't played in a hot minute, so I imagine I'm much lower now. And I'm a K and M player. So I don't know what you mean by K and M. I'm not 100% what you mean by that. Getting to Diamond 1 is honestly... Oh, keyboard and mouse? Wow, you play on keyboard and mouse in Rocket League? I'm not going to lie, I kind of tip my hat to you just for that. Like, in my opinion, that's impressive enough on its own. Drawing Absorb was great there. Like, this is what I like so much about Elspeth Sun's Champion. Like, it's just, it commands the game all on its own. But, I mean, you know, getting to Diamond 1, in my opinion, is actually really impressive. Like, because, like, I understand, like, people always make the comment that, like, you're not, like, you didn't get to, like, GC or anything. But I don't think people realize that when you're at that level, I'm just going to go ahead and exile this. I'm just going to pay retail for it. That when you are, like, at Diamond 1, you are ranked like and probably higher than half the people that play the game, like in my opinion. So like, I don't think there's any slack off saying you ever got to there. All right, well that makes us 1-1. Sunset Revelry kind of just bailed us out games 2 and 3 there because they just kind of ran us over the first game, and we didn't really have a whole lot to do. At least I think that's what happened. Yeah, because the Sunset Revelry was honestly not that impressive. Yeah, it's pretty weird sometimes because we don't have air roll left or right. We have to hold shift and use... Oh my gosh. I'm going to be honest, I naturally air roll right, so I have air roll left bound. I couldn't imagine not having air roll left. Like, that's really interesting to, like, think about. Like, just to sit here and kind of consider that whole, like, that as an option there. Against Luris, I mean, this seems fine. I'm going to play the farmland here. We can always cast the Consider next turn. Okay, so this is black-white auras. We'll play this and say go. We're at least making our opponent think that we have some kind of counterspell here that they have to play around. To be fair, they probably can't play around much. Like, if they don't play anything, that's a big win for us. My biggest grievance is the turn angle. Controller can turn at 27.5 degrees while keyboard mouse is only if... Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that you were like at a disadvantage because you play on keyboard and mouse. Yes, put that into the graveyard. Well... Drawing Hall of the Storm Giants wasn't ideal, but having our 2 dig through times in our hand is also not ideal here. But we're trying to make it work. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do. We're just having to take this one on the chin with mana value, and he gets Kaya's Ghost Form. Okay, that's actually pretty sweet. Hadn't really considered that. Yeah, the Light Paws Emperor seems pretty good in this deck. Man, you're just gonna load up on this, huh? Dies or is put into exile. Okay, all right. So we take 10. So we really need Supreme Verdict. Untapped White Source, please. Now, granted, they do get this Light Paws thing back, and if they just have the... Like, there's a lot of cards here they could have that could kill us. But we're giving ourselves the best chance that we have here, considering that our land drops were just kind of awkward and missed. So they get this and Ethereal Armor. Yep, that's 6. Do you have the other couple of points? No, you don't. Well... No, because we can Narset into March and pitch Veto for it, so... But we have to Narset into March here to have it, to even have a chance. Alright. Well, we tried. Our lands were just a little too awkward there. Like, we kept what I felt like was a pretty decent hand on the play, but it just didn't pan out. And unfortunately, that's just some of it, part of it sometimes. Yeah, it is exile. So March is going to be bonkers here. We're just going to leave those over there. Because we're bringing these in. Sunset Revelries can be good enough. Rest in Peace seems fine. Shark Typhoon makes a blocker. Using Azorius Storm to put back on top is really good. The Wanderer makes a blocker. I like anything that makes a blocker here. Elspeth Sun's Champion can help destroy things. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Dig Through Time in this spot. Teferi seems really slow. Teferi seems really slow. Like, we want one in to, like, try and win the game with or something. They do play a lot of auras, but they play a lot of creatures, too, so we don't want, like, a ton of these. They don't draw a lot of cards, so we can just leave in, like, one Narset. Yeah, I think trimming numbers and trying it like this seems like an okay play. Okay. This hand's good. We'll keep this. The lands are a little slow. But at the same time, like, we have multiple avenues. Okay. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each enchantment on it. So it has to die, so if we exile it, it doesn't matter. That's fine. We will put you back on top. We'll have to use the March here to get rid of the Selfless Savior so that our Supreme Verdict will be better. So we'll play that tapped so that we can hold up March into Supreme Verdict. Now, if they do play an Aura here onto the Hateful Eidolon, yeah, we'll preserve life. Nope, we'll just cast it and say done. Now they'll sacrifice the dog here, but we are saving a life point. Alright, hopefully we hit a land here, because it feels like we have a pretty clear line of play so far. We get to do this. They're going to save the Hateful Eidolon, which is fine. Now, next turn, hopefully we're hitting a land so that we can use Teferi to tuck something here. But if not, we're going to be using Shark Typhoon as a way to block on the following turn. Sentinel's Eyes. Okay. So I get data for 5. We go to 15. Alright, Teferi. I mean, if their last card is the protection thing, there's not much we can do about it. Second from the top. So not this turn, but the next turn they have a Hateful Eidolon coming. Pepe Rage Shocking. Longtime red player converted to blue. Phil's Badman. Listen, man, I am a red player, and I always will be a red player. I'm not converting to blue. I just like to play blue-white every now and again. This deck got disgusting with Light Paws. That card is not balanced. Oh, you're talking about auras? Yeah, the pickup of Light Paws for auras is insane. Like, it's just actually insane. This is about as good as the curve gets for me here. Because we get to just do this and untap 2 lands. As soon as we get to hold up Azorius Charm. And then next turn, we don't even have to cycle Shark Typhoon. We just get to actually play Shark Typhoon. We draw into Absorb and Supreme. Yeah, like, when the games go that well, there's not much they can do. Deafening Silence seems like not terrible, but it also seems awkward. Like it's not super awkward because we're not trying to play a ton of spells or anything like that, but it's awkward in the fact that like, it does shut off the Light Paws. It does shut off Light Paws. So, and maybe that's what you want it for. Maybe you want it to stop that. They did represent Chimera's Blessing pretty well that game, so I don't know. I think we just kind of want to run it back the way we have it here. The one of Teferi was actually really good because it helped us tuck the 5/6 they had on the field. I think Teferi is good in spots like that though, where you have used your first 2 to 3 turns to try and clear up the board, and now you're playing into Teferi to like finish off what's the last piece on the board, or you're using it to try and like gain some advantage. Having it into Elspeth was just actually insane though. This seems pretty good. Like having turn 2 Azorius Charm into turn 3 Absorb feels good. Drawing an untapped land is fine. Means we're guaranteed we're not having to shock anything. They'll probably take the Azorius Charm here. Like, at least I feel like they'll take the Azorius Charm. Alright, so they hit us for 3. So I'm actually going to play this and cycle the irrigated farmland here to try and draw into something else because we have 3 extra lands to play into. I mean, that's fine. Going to take my Absorb, I assume. No, take the Shark Typhoon. Okay, that's interesting. Not saying my opponent's wrong. I'm just intrigued by that decision. Yep, we're going to 13 here. Not much we can do about that. It's like cycle into the light card would be awesome. Alright, well, we're going to hold up Absorb here and hope that we can snag something and then run out of Supreme Verdict here the turn after that, because that's about all we have. Like the way the game's played out, that's just kind of the situation that we're in, so... I actually think I need to protect my Supreme Verdict here, because even though they get to draw a couple of cards off of that, I would rather... They do get to draw a couple of cards, but we're also fighting against a clean board at that point. Now, we do have the March of Otherworldly Light here to help us clean up. So, drawing Verdict into March was actually pretty sweet. The only thing that would make this better is if we had a Narset on the field so that they actually couldn't play into draw multiple cards here. They just get to draw 1 card. But they're going to go into their turn with 3 cards in their hand and an Eidolon on the field. Okay. Gonna buy Lurrus with the other 3. Yep, that actually makes sense. We'll just say go and hold up the light here. Maybe it pans out to where we get to use that. This turn, if they play Lurrus into Ghost form, that's kind of a blowout, actually. Which, to be fair, in their defense, feels like a pretty safe play for them. Yep. Huh. So they do get their Lurrus back, which is fine, but do they get to play a new card off of that? How does that work? Yeah, it would be a new instance they could play another card. Okay, that kind of sucks. So I think I'm just kind of forced to take this here and then give them, and then hope that I can peel into another removal spell. That's tough. So if we kill this now, it comes back with the ghost form. Oh, I don't like this. I think this is not going to end well for me, if I'm being honest. I think my best chance is to hope that they can't kill me here, and that I get to... Yeah, the fact that they can't kill me here, and then I get to March of the Otherworldly Light on the end of the turn. Okay. Okay. Three. Now they've tapped out, and they've played a land. So if we draw into Supreme Verdict here, we're actually in a pretty decent spot. Verdict. I mean... Hit cast. And then we get to exile this. And so then we have to hope we don't die so that we can Narset into another removal spell. But that's also kind of tough because we're already down three March of the Otherworldly Lights. So we're kind of... Maybe exile Ghost Form. I mean, it was possible that exiling Ghost Form was the correct play there. We got very lucky that we drew the way that we did because it made our play better. Alright, that's 3. That's 4. That's still just 4. Kaya's Ghost Form is so annoying. Alright, we're at 6. Do they just get that back off Detention Sphere? I'm pretty sure they do, but I mean, we still have to take it off the field. It's not like we have another option here. Yep, and I'm pretty sure they just get this back. Yep, which kind of sucks. Alright, don't be able to add 2 more points to the board, please. Not that it matters, we do a consider. Like, I'm pretty sure any aura here just kills me because they get to attach it to Light Paws and then they just get to, like, get something else. Like, God, this card's bonkers. They just get to keep casting their Sentinel's Eyes for like the billionth time. And they get to put Ethereal Armor on there and kill me. Okay. Well, I'm going to be honest. There might have been a turn where I did something wrong there, but it felt like we used our cards pretty effectively there. They were just like they had... So, the fact that... The fact that Kaya's ghost form gets it back off exile is insane. Like, it makes it like so good against like what we were trying to do. Also, the fact that they had 3 Thoughtseize into an as an aggressive as a start as they did was really good. Also, so their draw was pretty good. I think seeing the how do you pronounce this? Iganjo. If we just saw that, that would have been pretty good at certain points. The Otawara, that would have been pretty good. Like there were multiple options we had that could have like been like kind of points to help bail us out there. Them being able to Thoughtseize our Azorius Charm and the Shark Typhoon to block with on turn 3 was pretty good. The turn when the opponent put Lurrus into hand and you exiled the Eidolon in your main phase, you should probably have done that at instant speed so that you could hold up your second march for when they cast Ghost Form on Lurrus. Oh, so instead of actually... So you're saying that instead of killing the... that instead of exiling the Eidolon, I should have held that up because they would have played Lurrus into Ghost Form and I could have just exiled the Lurrus instead? Yeah, no, that would have been a really good play. You had 2 copies of March? Yes, I did have 2 copies of March. I couldn't cast them both in the same turn, though. That was the problem that I ran into. But yeah, I think exiling the Lurrus would have been better there. Because if we hold up and play at instant speed there off the Lurrus, no matter what they put it on, we get to exile it, and then we get to untap and exile the other thing, which would have saved all of the beating we took there. Yeah, you're completely right. That would have been a lot better. I have no idea what our opponent's playing, but we have a good mix of lands and spells here, so I'm inclined to keep this. Plus, we have the Irrigated Farmland to cycle on turn 2, so... And I feel like in most matchups, Supreme Verdict is pretty good. But yeah, Nostalgia, your line was definitely correct there. I think that was in my head, me trying to play around... the Kymmetra's Blessing, and I think it was just wrong to try and play around that, so... Okay. They're playing Unclaimed Territory. That's interesting. Alright, so there's another farmland to cycle through. I'd like to find something to help us get through to Supreme Verdict, because them playing Thalia here would be kind of bad for us. Ooh, they're also playing Iganjo. Or Iganjo. What is this? Okay. We're just going to say go here. So that really allows him to produce a lot of mana. That's interesting. I mean, that means he could play Collected Company this turn if he wanted to. He could play 1-drop into Collected Company, too. That seems like a pretty interesting card. I did update the record, okay. Okay. We take 3 here because of the Adeline trigger. Field of Ruin, alright. Well, I definitely think it's best to just play the Narset here. Our opponent doesn't have to attack it here, but any kind of Supreme Verdict, like if we have a Detention Sphere is really good. If we can get to Elspeth, I think the game will be over. I could be wrong, but I think being able to get Elspeth on the field kind of ends the game against this deck. Okay, Thalia is not good. Yeah, man, our opponent just had, like, we did nothing for the first 2 turns, and now we're a 1. Having Thalia the turn you needed it was really good there. I mean, I guess I'll look and see what we can hit here. Nothing relevant, because even playing Detention Sphere there, like, just doesn't do enough. I mean, maybe we're not supposed to keep that hand, like, on the draw like that. Maybe it's just too slow against anything we're playing against, but I also think it's not bad. These are the cards we want in this matchup. Dig Through Time is too slow. Teferi is too slow. We do not want any copies of Dovin's Veto. Like, I understand that they play Collected Company, but we're also playing 4 Absorbs, and I would rather have reactive cards, or I would rather have answers to the board as opposed to the 4 vetoes there. Feels bad that Catilda ended up being a 2-mana 1/1, but Thalia was too brutal. Yeah, Thalia was just backbreaking the turn before our Supreme Verdict, and if they held it there to play around a removal spell, that was very intelligent. Like, that was a very good play by them. And I think we can cut a Narset, because they're probably not drawing too many cards, so we'll try it like this. Bring in, like, 7 cards to try to help us, like, shore up the early game. This hand seems really good. We can put something on top on turn 2, and then we have a counter spell on turn 3. We draw Dig Through Time a lot. Like, that's just, I don't know, that's a card I see a lot of when I play it in these decks. Like, I feel like it's good that I always, like, that I'm seeing it, but I wish I would see it. Like, I wish I could trade that for, like, a Verdict, a Detention Sphere, I don't know, something to do in the early game. As opposed to just always having Dig Through Time that I know I'm not going to be able to cast until, like, at least turn 4 or 5. If our opponent plays, like, Thalia or something here, I will not cycle my Azorius Charm. They're debating playing around Censor here, which I kind of like. Now, the list that I have isn't playing Censor, but I do like that they're playing around it. It feels like they're at least thinking about what they should be doing a little bit here, so... By the way, would you play Miscalculation over Censor if it ever becomes legal in Pioneer? I don't know what that card does, so I'm going to have to look it up, honestly. Miscalculation MTG. Well, something tells me counter target spell unless its controller pays an additional 2. So you're talking about not just Force Spike, like you're talking about like them actually having to like pay 2 and it cycles for 2. I think that's better than Censor. Like, I think if you put that card in Pioneer, I think that sees play over Censor, like, almost every time. What is this? Choose a creature type. Only to cast a creature. So it's literally just a... Okay. So it's just another type of the same thing there. We're just going to use Azorius Charm to put Thalia back on top. And then we can hold up Absorb the following turn. Botanical Sanctum. What? This is spicy meatball here. I see. I almost never play Control, so I don't have any opinion on it. I like to play Control every now and again because, one, I feel like it gives me some diversity in the way that I play Magic. And I mean, honestly, but I'm not a huge fan of playing it. I don't play it at tournaments or anything like that. I really don't like to do it. Again, I don't think I'm cycling here. I think we're just going to say go here. We can either hold up Absorb, or we can play Azorius Charm to take Thalia off the field. So that card's just an unclaimed territory. Like, unless I'm missing something, That secluded courtyard is just unclaimed territory. Only to cast a spell of the chosen type or okay, so it gives you the activate ability text, which you do not get with unclaimed territory, if I'm not mistaken. So put this on top. Yep, we'll take 2, go to 18. And we'll say go. They cast Collected Company here. I'm just going to counter it. Like, it's an easy counter. And if they want to, like, just go into their turn and play Thalia again, that's fine. Because if they play Thalia and we hit an untapped land, then we just have the capability of... Yeah, so let's see here. Can I use March to do anything beforehand? Is that worth it? Like, so it costs 1 more, which means if we want to hit something for 2, we have to pay 4. Which means we have to pay 3. So normally we could just pay the 1. We'd have to exile 2 cards, and I'm going to be honest, I just don't think that's worth. I'm just going to hope to hit a land here. Like, I know leaving this up to chance is a little aggressive here, but we're gonna go to 15. But land for Supreme Verdict off the top, like, I'm not gonna say it ends the game, but it's pretty dang close. Because now they have 2 cards in hand, and I'm 1 untapped land away from putting Shark Typhoon into play. So, yeah, hitting the land there was insane. The 4-for-1 was also very nice. It was very much so. I'm just going to say go here. We can actually just use March of Otherworldly Light and then hold up Absorb for if they do anything else. Just going to cast it. So I actually can't absorb this, but I don't think I need to. Alright, so they've had 3 Thalias and 12 cards. That seems pretty good. I like playing Sunset Revelry. This seems pretty good. We go to 19, make a couple of blockers here. Don't really know what our opponent's doing here. Is NRG playing Complexity right now? Oh my gosh, they are. Lord, NRG's had such a rough weekend. They're playing or winning in for top 8 tomorrow. Or top 4, whatever they play on the second day, which is kind of interesting. I think our opponent's like lagging out or something right now. I'm debating if I want to try and play that new mono red burn list that I keep seeing around. Or if I want to play the new Boros burn list. I think that new mono red burn list is pretty sweet. It's well, that's not what I wanted. Whoa, what is this? What is this? This is crazy. 2 Titan strengths. That's wildly interesting. So this person's playing Chandra Dress to Kill here. While we're waiting on my opponent, I'm just going to look at this here. So my opponent's playing Lava Runner, Swiftspear, Soulscar Mage, but they're not playing... They're playing Lava Runner because it's a 2/2. I think Reinforced Ronin's just better in this spot. So I'm wondering if playing Reinforced Ronin is just good enough in that spot to do that. Oh, so they let this resolve? Okay. Them having the Thalia is just kind of like annoying. Honestly, like it's just kind of like making for like some annoying turns. We're 1 land away from being able to go Shark Typhoon into Dig Through Time, which almost assuredly ends the game on the spot. Like Shark Typhoon, like hard casting Shark Typhoon into Dig Through Time is pretty much just always like game ending. It's pretty backbreaking. Our opponent's either really in the tank or they're lagging again. Alright, it's going to be like one of the longest leagues in the history of the world. While I enjoy playing a good bit of Magic, I hate that these leagues, like, the blue-white leagues just always take so long. This mono red burn list does look pretty sweet, though. Thraben Inspector? Sure. The idea of playing mono red burn, like playing like actual burn in Pioneer is always something that excites me. It's one of those things I always feel like, I always have a hard time feeling like it's good enough. But maybe Chandra Dress to Kill, like based off the new meta, is just like giving us enough to do. So if I hit a land here, this is great, but if I don't hit a land, then I'm probably just cycling Shark Typhoon. I mean, Teferi's not bad. And we'll just make a 4/4 and block here. We'll just make a 4/4 and block Thalia here probably, and then we'll just use Teferi to like tuck away the Lieutenant. Or if they don't play anything before they attack, we're just going to use the Shark Typhoon to block Talia's Lieutenant. Not likely considering they have 2 options here. That's not bad. Our opponent probably likes to see that. The other option is that we don't cycle Shark Typhoon and then we cast Dig Through Time. I mean, you know, and we could do that, but I don't really like that option. Yeah, let's make a 4/4 here. We draw into Castle Vantress. We block Thalia. We take 7, go to 12. Oh, did I tap too many lands? If I did, that's okay because it means that it'll untap here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're just gonna tuck this and say go. So they have this card, and then the next card we know that they're drawing is Talia's Lieutenant, and we're gonna cast Dig Through Time here. All right. So if Talia's Lieutenant this turn and Talia's Lieutenant next turn. And maybe they think that getting the Teferi off the field is important enough that they attack through and just they're okay with losing a Lieutenant here to get Teferi off the field. They are. I'm not saying my opponent's wrong here. I kind of like their decision. That's a decision I would have oftentimes made while playing against... Ooh, okay. What does this do? This costs for each legendary creature you control. Well, I have none of those, so... Yeah, we'll just take the Sunset Revelry and this. The Otawara. March is pretty sweet. March. Why did I say March? I think I meant Sunset Revelry. I don't really know why I said March right there. 4th Dice, Lieutenant in the top 15 cards of their deck. Wow. Yeah, I mean, our opponent's drawing pretty well, but, like, honestly, like, we're kind of just seeing the power level of blue-white control right now in the current format, in my opinion, because they have they really seen 4th Dice Lieutenants? 1, 2, 3, and then the next one's coming off the top of their deck. Wow, they really have. That's insane, actually. I didn't realize that. So we get to, we actually get to play Sunset Revelry, go to 16, make 2 1/1s, play Farmland, and then we get to attack with the Shark, having 2 blockers back, and then we have March for the Thraben Inspector if we need it, or we have Absorb. We can actually play both in the same turn, so that seems pretty decent. We're also somewhat in a spot where we can just buy Kahira here and start doing something with that. Now, granted, it's not as busted as it is in a Modern because we're not just like putting Solitude into play. Let's see. Oh, Carolina's playing Virginia Tech in basketball today, and we're up 8 at halftime, it appears, so that's cool. So that resolves. We attack for 4. Maybe they have that channel land in their hand, and they're just kind of waiting to blow out our Shark here. Because, I mean, that's actually something to be thinking about pretty considerably here, because they could just be doing... they could just be holding the channel land here, and then they could just pitch it to blow it up. Or they could do that if we're blocking. Not that their things really get trampled, but it is something to think about here. I definitely meant to play the farmland here, but we can also just cycle it. We do have 7 lands in play, so... Ho, 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 ho. We're having none of that. Thank you. Definitely having none of that. Oh, I claimed a drop watching Rocket League, or I scored a drop watching Rocket League. Let's go. So we know the last card in their hand is the Lieutenant. They just drew it, which is... Why would they have played Combo there? I don't know. That's very weird. Why would they have not played Combo earlier if that was their card in their hand? I don't know. That's kind of weird, but whatever. I mean, I'm just going to hop in front here. Take nothing. We're going to cycle the farmland. Draw into another farmland. That's not bad. So we'll attack for 4 here. The fact that you have Secluded Courtyard and you have Unclaimed Territory, I think makes it possible to play like a more, like you're not just playing like the mono white aggro package with humans, followed up by the followed up by Collected Company anymore. Like you now have you now have more options which allow you to basically like play like more creatures, which I think is actually pretty sweet. Sorry, I was kind of having a stroke while trying to think about that. All right, and they concede. We have 8 more minutes on the clock than they do, so that's convenient. Now, the disappointing part about that is they do win the game very quickly here. I'm wondering if we want to cut dig through time on the play, or on the draw, I mean. If we would rather just have in... I don't know. I don't think there's anything else you want in, honestly. Yeah, I think we're just running it back the way that we have it. All right. If we did not have Sunset Revelry here, I would not even be considering keeping this hand. But I think having Sunset Revelry into Absorb is pretty good. Plus, I like the idea of having Elspeth. Now, granted, I understand that like having a 6-mana Planeswalker, like we have a Teferi and an Elspeth in our opening 7 is not great here. But I think Sunset Revelry followed by Absorb might buy us enough time. I saw a 5-color human deck. The mana base was a hot pile of trash, but it worked from what I saw. That's pretty interesting. See, I'd be more interested to see if people start trying to play more like 5-color humans in Pioneer, as opposed to like how they just play it in Modern. Like he's probably like our opponent's probably playing Freebooter here. Die is pretty good. Now we'll probably just end up using that as a land as opposed to like actually, you know, like using the channel effect. Depends on how our lands go. There's Adeline. Adeline's not bad. We're gonna go to 18 here. They're gonna make a token. We're actually gonna go to 17 here. They only have 3 cards in their hand left. The only thing that we're kind of missing from our hand is a Supreme Verdict. And honestly, like, if we just went Supreme Verdict into another land right here, like, just be insane. Sunset Revelry number 2 is also cracked. We can use our human token to jump in front of the Adeline here and soak up some damage. We'll probably just block whatever's the biggest here. They can't play Collected Company this turn. They're playing Werewolf Pack Leader in their deck? Oh my gosh. What? I mean... that is very interesting. That is very interesting to say the least. Now they're gonna get to draw 2 cards here, like, so don't get me wrong. Like I'm not completely hating because they're gonna get to see a couple of cards right here, and it's gonna be really good. But that is a spicy meatball. Yeah, unfortunately, we're just cycling the Shark Typhoon here. All of their lands must produce green. Like, yeah, all their lands have to produce green here, honestly. Like, if they're playing Pack Leader, that has to be the case. Well. Now they're just going to get to pump up the Werewolf here? No, they're not. Now, the Sunset Revelry can help us out here a little bit, but... or maybe it can't. The fact that they have Spellbinder here. Like, our opponent's hand was really good. It's also very awkward that we kept 3 lands and we haven't seen another one. Like, I really don't understand how this happens so regularly in this deck. Like, I feel like this happens quite a lot when I play blue-white control. Like, and we saw another land, but it's just too little too late. Yeah, because we can't even play Teferi here. We're just gonna, I mean, like, we're just gonna lose. Like, we didn't see Supreme Verdict. And, yeah, I mean, Game 3, there was literally nothing else we could have done. Like, in a lot of situations, I'm okay with saying that I probably could have done something differently. You can go back and watch that 100 times, and there's nothing I can change. There's nothing else I can do. Like, I could have mulliganed that hand because it wasn't the fastest, but our opponent had also mulliganed, and we had turn 2 and turn 3 plays. So, I don't know. We're also playing 26 lands. Like, missing land... Like, that's the second time today that I've missed land drops in 4 games. In 4 games, or in 4 matches, I have played 12 games. I played 12 games of Magic, like, just 12 games, and I have missed a land drop multiple times. Yes, I technically didn't miss a land drop that time. Yeah, I don't know. At a certain point, I don't really know what to do when things like that start happening. Oh, NRG's up 2-1 on Complexity. Man, it would be crazy to see Complexity lose, or Complexity win, and NRG not make day 2. Or like day 3, like the top 8 or whatever. That would actually just be insane. I don't even know what I would do. Have I played with the Jund Karn deck? No, I have not. I don't even know what deck you're talking about. Like, that sounds really cool, though. Like, is it like a Jund mid-rangey like deck with Karn or something? This hand seems fine. Okay. Castle Vantress say go. Depending on what they do here, Botanical Sanctum makes me think that this is like Hidden Strings. Depending on what they do here, we'll probably just cycle. Yeah, we're just going to draw a card here. Say that and say go. Spectral Adversary. Alright, so is this like spirits? Like Bant Spirits or something here? Okay. I mean, the card felt very underwhelming right there. Alright, let's look at this deck. Oh, so it's Jund Sack, but it's playing Oni Cult Anvil. When one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 colorless construct token. This ability triggers once each turn. Sacrifice an artifact. Does 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. Meathook Massacre, Trellicrums, and it's just playing Karn. Wow, that's really interesting. That looks like a pretty sweet list, honestly. Like, I don't know if it's something that like I would enjoy playing personally, but it does look like a lot of like it looks like something that would be pretty good. Like, that honestly looks like a Zancyte special right there. When I see that, that's what I think of. Well, the Wandering Emperor is not going to do enough here. We're going to let our opponent draw a card and everything. Well. I'm just going to take this opportunity to, like, flash in a Wandering Emperor here if I need to. And then we can just try to start racing. Because I don't really know what else we're doing from this spot. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, we're going to 13, and they're going to go up to 7 cards here. It's insane. It's actually just insane. Alright, let's flash in the Emperor. See what our opponent does. I mean, I guess I could have flashed that in and tried to exile it before they drew a couple of cards there. No, I cannot pay 4 for this. Please don't have that snarl card, whatever it's called. Snarl, the one mana. That's kind of tough. I mean, to be fair, we're trading a Wandering Emperor or a Teferi there. It's not like there's many differences. I guess Teferi has a lot more late game value than the Wandering Emperor. We should have flashed in the Emperor when they attacked with the adversary to try and get a counterspell there, so that we can minus and kill it if they didn't have anything, because they might have drawn the Lofty Denial off of the creature there. So So yeah, we gotta play a land, and I don't think just jamming Elspeth is correct here. I think we're gonna wait. I think we're gonna try and play the Wandering Emperor here. Is this like blue-green spirits? A 6 cents. Interesting. That's very interesting that they're playing 6 cents. Like, I kind of like it, honestly. Flash in the Emperor. They probably have a counterspell here. 3 cards in their hand. I imagine at least one of them has to be a counterspell. I'm just gonna try to exile this. It puts me to 15. It basically negates the Shacklegeist here. So I pay 5. Have 2 left. That doesn't seem great, honestly. Alright, let's see if you counter this. Probably will. Ooh, interesting. Doesn't counter that. Okay. I mean, I guess we can start trying to race. I don't know what else we're doing here. Put a counter on the token. Nebelgast Herald. Okay. Nebelgast Herald is one of those like cards that I feel like is very underplayed. Like, I feel like that is like one of the better spirit creatures in this format. They get to tap in another token. Oh. There's 8. I mean, if they play another Anthem, they're forced to go after Elspeth, because if not, I'm just going to minus and destroy all their creatures. Or they have to at least hit Elspeth for 3 here. Alright, so they're going to kill the Wandering Emperor and then hit me for 6. Alright, let's go for it here. This needs to be Supreme Verdict. I like Supreme Verdict and Azorius Charm here. Any order. I'm going to attack him with the clowns. Okay. Better late than never, I guess. Cast this. Plus, and we'll say go. -7 is actually pretty bonkers here. Alright, so there's a 2-1. The creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. I mean, if we could get to a point in the game where we had an Elspeth emblem on the field, that would be bonkers. What is Realm Walker? They get to play cards from the top of their deck, I think. Yeah, is what that says. Alright, what are we doing here? Are we just giving our stuff lifelink, going to 6, and then putting something back on top? Well, no, we're not putting something back on top because... So, if we gain 6, we have to hope they play a spell before they start doing things so that we can go to 9. Actually, we just kind of have it where we're at right now. So we make tokens, we say go, because the Azorius Charm was actually an insanely good draw because it allows us to put the Spectral Adversary back on top, and then we can block the Realm Walker and take 1 from the Supreme Phantom, and plus if they play anything, we have Absorb. Maybe we get real lucky and we're able to just use Absorb here to stay in the game, and then we can Azorius Charm and Elspeth Emblem to give all of our stuff +2/+2 and lifelink. I mean, that would be insane. Okay. Now, Realm Walker does give them some options here. Put this back on top of your deck. Hopefully we draw something decent here. I mean, Field of Ruin's not great. I mean, Field of Ruin actually allows us to stay away from... yeah, that actually allows us to stay away from them having the... That's pretty sweet, actually. We're going to attack for 9, and then we'll have 9 points blocking. Not going to lie, I've never actually got the ult Elspeth here, and let me tell you, this is bonkers. haven't seen a Rattle Chains, but I can't imagine that they're not playing Rattle Chains. The addition of Realm Walker in their deck is actually pretty interesting because it gives them some like really decent staying power. Plus, they're playing Curious Obsession and Sixth Sense, which means that they're really trying to draw cards. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library, and since you pick spirits, it allows you to do that. Make another blocker. So we can actually... Alright, they just conceded from the game. I was like, I think we can make 2 blockers a turn here, which is actually insane. The fact that we won that game is very surprising. What is up, my dude? Late to the party? How's it going? Oh, dude, you're never late. You're exactly when you're meant to be here, buddy. It's going pretty good. I'm 1-3 with blue-white control so far, but you know, it is what it is. The new list seems very powerful, and I think if I was better with control decks, we'd have better results right now, honestly. All right, so March seems really good. Shark Typhoon seems really good. Mystical Dispute feels very good here. Deafening Silence seems terrible. Rest in Peace seems like it has no value. Sunset Revelry seems like it could have some value, but I think these 6 cards that we have here are just better. Dovin's Veto does not seem great. Cut Dig Through Time, cut it to Fairy, run everything else the way we have it. I kind of like this, honestly. Seems like an easy bring in, bring out. How is March and Pioneer? Does it get the job done? It's honestly been cracked today. Like March of the Otherworldly Lights or whatever it's called has been insane today. Like I don't even run from that. Like it's been cracked. So yeah, this hand seems good. If our opponent puts a 1-drop into play on turn 2, we can use March to exile it. We're going to play Castle Vantress here because Glacial Fortress will come into play untapped off of the plains. Ooh, 6 cents. Alright, so they're trying to... I'm not going to lie. I'd like to know what our opponent's list is because the fact that they're playing 6 cents and this seems pretty sweet. I'm going to say go here. Nope, we're just going to cast this. Now, they'll probably sacrifice the Mausoleum Wonder so that it doesn't get exiled. It's not really relevant either way. No, they won't. Okay. I don't really know how relevant that is in their deck, but just a thought. Okay. Play Glacial Fortress and say go. We have Otherworldly Light here, or we have Absorb. We're definitely going to absorb that thing. Let's see if they counter this. They do. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Now we have Shark Typhoon, March of the Otherworldly Light as backup here. Alright, another 6 cents is not great for us. I wasn't sure about its performance in the format. Yeah, so I saw it like, you know, like after the set came out. I saw a couple people playing it in like some kind of like interesting blue-white decks. And then I've just kind of seen like Claudio. I've been watching him play, and he's been having very good results with the deck, like with the blue-white control deck. So I'm kind of curious to try it. But yeah, March has been really good. It feels like one of those cards that is balanced very well. Just going to exile this. Probably just use Azorius Charm here to put something on top. Buy us a little bit of more time. I wonder if they're playing Collected Company. I highly doubt it. I doubt they're playing Collected Company just because of all the non-creatures they're playing. Yep, we'll take one, go to 14. Alright, let's run out Narset. So we know that they do not have the Adversary on top of their deck anymore. I guess they could have drawn a card in response. Okay, they're going to draw a card in response to the Narset. I think we're just taking Absorb here. I like the life padding it offers. And then I think next turn we have the ability to hold up Absorb. Like we have the ability to hold up every card in our hand basically next turn. So imagine it'll attack the Narset here. I haven't really seen our opponent draw extra cards other than with the Spectral Sailor here, but alright. I'm just gonna say go here. Okay. I mean, keeping Rattle Chains off the field is very important. We were very fortunate that they did not have one game one. Ew, that's tough. But the fact that they did not have one game one was very good for us. And okay, so they don't get to draw a card, but they are going to kill Narset. Keeping Rattle Chains off the field is very important, just because it makes their entire deck at instant speed, and I really like that. No, we'll draw that one. I really like having Azorius Charm. I think we're just cycling Shark Typhoon here. Like, cycling Shark Typhoon just seems really good. Like, the value of sticking Shark Typhoon here into playing Teferi Hero of Dominaria next turn is insane. Like, that ends the game for sure, but we're leaving ourselves a higher chance for blowout here, because if they have a Lofty Denial in their hand and we slam Shark Typhoon onto the field as opposed to cycling it for 4, like, that's really bad for us. Like, that's kind of blowout city, and that's normally one of the things that I would do that I feel like cost me the game. So uh-oh, hang on, I gotta get this phone call, guys. Somebody that I work with just dialed me, so there's that. That's pretty good, because now it means they're getting to draw a card regardless here. I mean, I guess we could cycle... I don't know. I kind of like just cycling for a 4/4 here. Because unless they have like some kind of like stifle effect, like we're just like... Now they get to draw a card, but we are just kind of getting to like eat the... I think I'm just going to eat the Spectral Sailor here. I don't want them to be able to draw an extra card, like if they hit a land. I'd rather than be able to counter an instant or sorcery spell. Permanent you control. Okay. Playing around Supreme Verdict. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know how good that is. Like, all you did was prevent something there. You didn't really do much. So we're going to go ahead and exile this. Play Teferi. Dig Through Time was a very well-timed Dig Through Time there. Untap these. We'll probably just hold up Azorius Charm here. Casting Dig Through Time at the end of the turn when they could have a potential counterspell is very bad also, because it could put us in a spot where Dig Through Time doesn't resolve, when we could easily just untap and resolve Dig Through Time. Our opponent's also probably not far away from conceding here. Like, okay. I think having a blocker and Azorius Charm here puts me in a pretty commanding spot. I could have just played Teferi and minus, but that did not seem very good. Is this Realm Walker? That's not good. That card generates a lot of value for them, so now we're going to cast... We're definitely going to cast Dig Through Time now. Really doesn't matter what we hit. I just start picking random stuff in this deck. I like having the channel effect here to be able to, like, it's basically a removal spell. We draw a card. And we're just going to say go here. We'll just say okay. We don't want to untap anything here. Now the Realm Walker can help keep them in this game, even though honestly I don't really feel like there's anything that can happen from here. I feel like the game's just kind of over. As long as I as long as I play strategically, I think the game is just kind of over from here. Plus, if our opponent doesn't do much this turn, we can just scry to. Like, there's lots of good options here. Probably wasn't bad to use Field of Ruin there, because during our main phase, because of the Teferi untaps the 2 lands we use. So it just gives us another colored land source there. Like probably gives us a plains there, honestly. I really wish our opponent would hurry up here. I hate moments like this because I am... Like, this is like... Our league has been going on for 2 hours and 24 minutes. Like, and this is what happens. We didn't even wait a long time to find games today. Like, it just took forever to... Lord. Wonder if NRG's winning. NRG beat Complexity 4-1. Okay. So... NRG series is on right now. Alright, I'm going to use the bathroom. Of course, the second I decide I'm going to use the bathroom, my opponent just has to come back. We'll do that to buy some life here. If they swing in with the clowns here, we're in a pretty decent spot because we just get to start, like, we just get to use a Ganjo here. So we know the top of their deck's a land, which means I really don't want to use my Field of Ruin. Which means we know that they're drawing a land. But they're just going to activate the draw card here. I feel like I missed the opportunity to scry 2 at the end of the last turn because I just wasn't paying attention, so that was a mistake on my part. Yep, untap our Hallowed Fountain. So it actually wasn't a land. They just decided to wait to flash in the Rattle Chains, which was pretty smart. I mean, have I even seen a Supreme Verdict yet? I haven't. So this game is going this well, and I haven't seen a Supreme Verdict yet. We'd really like to see a Supreme Verdict here. Teferi is nearing... nearing ultimate here, and Azorius Charm and the Eiganjo cancel, or the Eiganjo Seat of the Empire here. Alright, we're going to do this, and then we're going to scry 1 here. Get a plane, then we're going to scry 2, I guess. I like putting that on top because that means we get to draw a card. Okay. Okay, so we're going to play Elspeth. With power 4 or greater. So I'd just be minusing to blow up my Shark Typhoon, my Shark token here. Alright, so... now we're able to hold up 3 Azorius Charms here, which feels pretty good. Oh, drawing a card. Now you're going to flash in something here. Wow. Alright, our opponent's draw has been pretty bad, especially considering that they've had Realm Walker here to help them dig through the deck. Yep. Tap down our Shark token, which is good. All right. What are you attacking where? Teferi, Teferi, Teferi? That's interesting. Deal 4 damage to this. we'll put 3 soldier tokens in front of the Realm Walker, and we'll try to put the Rattle Chains on top. That's what we're going for right now. And I think this is just game 2 also. Like, I'm not 100% on that, but... Alright, opponent, please just do something. Like, bro, like if you have a Rattle Chains, just do it. We put this on top. All right. Okay. Yep. All right, finally. So drawing an actual removal spell was kind of nice here. No, I'd rather force my opponent to flash in stuff here. I'd rather force my opponent to play the Rattle Chains here as opposed to and use the Rattle Chains here to actually tap down my Shark token. And they drew a few cards. I guess they don't have to play the Rattle Chains, but... Okay. Flashing the Rattle Chains. You're going to give this hexproof, and then you're going to tap down my Shark token. What? Alright, that's interesting, to say the least. I mean, unless you have another Rattle Chains to protect the Spectral Sailor here, I really don't understand. Let's attempt to put this on top. Our opponent just concedes. All right, that was a very interesting game. I think that was just game 2 also. Like, our opponent just did not out-tempo us. They're like, I mean, it felt like our opponent didn't draw very well, but at the same time, we won that game without seeing a single Supreme Verdict. So, I don't know. Call that what you will. Elspeth was awesome in that matchup. Honestly, Elspeth was awesome in that league. That was, like, I don't think you want to play more than one, but I really do like the idea of playing Elspeth as a one-of in the main like that. So, I don't know. The deck felt pretty good. I think the game, as a couple of people pointed out during the league, there were a couple of things that I did that were probably a mistake. Well, there's no probably they were a mistake. There was just different, better lines to take there that I just didn't see or think about at the time. That probably cost us a match against the Black-White Auras deck in Game 3. But everything else, like, I felt pretty clean about. So the list feels pretty good. We missed land drops a couple of times, which was a little frustrating. But I mean, you know, that's that. There's just not much to it. So, all right. Well, this was Blue-White Control.